Texting 857-609. Hey, how are you, America? Happy early 4th of July here. We are up on Cape Cod in the grand town of Falmouth, where it's all going down. The vineyard across the way, the iconic movie Jaws, where it all went down. And it is my pleasure to have one of the original subscribers of IDD back for his annual football preview, the one and only Sean. Don't call me the Breeze, but I am the Breeze. Darcy. I am the highly questionable Audrey Miliaccio. Welcome back, brother. Great to have you. Miss this guy.
Good to be here.
Yes.
Happy birthday, America.
Yes. Happy early 4th of July. Hopefully your barbecues are plentiful, the cooler never goes empty, and the water is shark-free and warm. Okay? Up here, I can vouch for 2 out of 3 of those. Okay? The water not being shark-free is the one I can't count on. But anyway, that's all right. I digress. It doesn't matter. Anyway, segment 1. I wore this in Sean's honor today. Had to do it because the great one is finally coming back home, and they're going to honor him on opening night. But we're going to dabble into a couple things today. We're going to start with the Patriots and then dabble into the Celtics. He's got something he wants to surprise me about, but surprises come to those who wait, but he's getting one first. Anyway, first off, you've been up here. He's in Mansfield, which is probably a stone's throw from Foxborough.
Literally.
So he's literally in the heart of Patriot Nation. So now, first question I had for you was, their off-season moves. To this point, good, bad, did you like them? Did you not like them? What about them? Did you?
What the one move I'm waiting for is D-Hop.
That's the big one.
That's what I'm waiting for. And I personally think the Patriots' future is all about, are they going to get DeAndre Hopkins? If they get him, guess what? Mac might turn into be a pretty good quarterback. If they don't get him, I don't know where this team's going. I think, actually I do. I think they're going to be a 7-win team.
7?
I think they're a 7-win team. If they don't have a superstar wide receiver, that's what they need. Because the rest of their team is just mediocre, and they need that one huge guy to go over the top.
Is this the consensus opinion up here right now amongst the fans?
I think
that's
so.
The guy that they got to get?
For that particular question, absolutely. They need D-Hop.
Yeah.
What did I say? I remember, I think I texted you. I said, Mr. Kraft needs to back a dump truck full of money up to the gates.
This is true. He did
before D-Hop leaves Gillette Stadium.
He said this.
And dump it on him and do not let that man leave. Mm-hmm. We need him. Mac needs him.
Mac needs him.
Bill needs him.
Bill
Mr.
definitely.
Kraft needs him.
Yes. I would agree.
I need him. I need him. I'm a big Patriots fan. I want to see us back in the playoffs, legitimately in the playoffs.
All right. He shocked me. Not trying to, but he did. He's usually the optimist in this conversation. I'm usually the pessimist. But apparently the roles are going to be reversed today. And while I agree with everything he said about this guy is the priority, here's what people need to also know. 1, we both sat here last year, and only because it was Bill Belichick did we not rake him over the coals about hiring Patricia and Judge. It was anybody else. But Bill Belichick,
I gave him the benefit.
We all know. Even I is like, all right, well, if anybody can make this work, it's him. But we, for the life of us, couldn't figure out why. And he even went so far as to suggest that Brian Hoyer, which I still think that was a good idea, should have been helping with the offense and calling the play because he was a former quarterback. And former quarterbacks tend to do well in that role. So that was his, out of the water prediction, which I thought made sense because that's what quarterbacks generally evolve into. And that never actually came to fruition, and they went off the rails. Now, here's the thing. And I've said this before on the show about Patricia and Judge and what, if you look at the teams that they were fired from, what they did the following season. Okay, Detroit with Matt Patricia was a 3-win team. And Jared Goff looked worse than Mac Jones did. Last year, they were 6 games better, and Jared Goff looked like the guy that we faced in the Super Bowl. He looked like that dude. It was addition by subtraction. Joe Judge, the Giants, were awful. They were a 5-win team. They go to the playoffs, win a game. And Danny Dimes, who everyone in New York, and we've got one of our hosts, God love you, Tom, we miss you, was saying Danny Dimes was worthless. And I kept saying, he doesn't have a coach. He still doesn't have a number 1, which is part of Mac's problem, to your point. I said, you cannot judge a quarterback in this league unless they have a true number 1 and an offensive coordinator that has a clue. Mac Jones, right now, is on his 3rd offensive coordinator in 3 years. He made a Pro Bowl with one, a guy that I can't stand. And then this idiot comes in last year and just takes them off the rails. But he's done this before to other quarterbacks. So here's the thing that I'm going to astonish him with. I love D-Hop. I've been saying that they need to do this. Here's the thing. The Patriots already have their number 1. He's already on the roster. and his name is Tyquan Thornton. Okay, he is 6'2.5", and he is one of
He's close.
of four. When I say four players in the entire NFL. Four. One of them you all know, the Cheetah, who can run a 4.240. The difference is the Cheetah is 5'8". This guy is 6'2.5". That's one thing. Now, here's the thing. We didn't find out about him because Matt Patricia was running the damn offense and was using this guy for bubble screens.
Yeah.
What the fuck is a 6'2.5", 4'2" running a bubble screen? Why is he not running the post? Why is he not running the flag? Why is he not doing anything vertical?
I have an answer.
Well, it's Matt Patricia.
Because we had a defensive coordinator for an offensive coordinator.
And he was a bad defensive coordinator at that.
Yeah.
Okay. Bill O'Brien, now here's the thing. You've heard about Aaron Rodgers. You know what's going on there, okay?
Yeah.
Everybody and their mother across the league, okay, all the analysts is saying how, well, Aaron's going to this team that has this coordinator that works with him and runs his offense and blah, all this shit. How, well, they're going to be, these two have never won a damn thing together. But everybody's pinning their hopes to that because, what happened in Green Bay didn't matter when he had this guy and they never won a damn thing. They didn't. They had home court advantage in 3 NFC title games and lost them all. 2 of them to Jimmy fucking G. Porn star Jimmy, who no one, okay, that knows the Washington Falls thought he should replace Tom Brady. But he lost to him on his own field to a West Coast team twice with this clown as his coordinator. Yet now he's going to put these two are going to put the Jets in the Super Bowl. Newsflash, America. Bill O'Brien was Mac Jones' coordinator at Alabama. What did they do? They won a fucking national championship in the SEC. Mac Jones with this guy, 47 touchdowns, 4 picks, 72% completion percentage in the SEC. The NFL D League, as we like to call it. Okay? So I said last year when the season ended that Matt Patricia, it cost the Patriots at least 4 games. At least 4. Easy 4 games. Easy 4 games, okay? This dude right here, who now and here's the thing, you've already heard this. The beat writers up there, these morons, I don't know how they get paid. They're all looking at this going, wow, the offense looks in midseason form, and they're up to date, and everything. Wow, it's all crisp, and Mac looks like he's in control. Of course he's in control. He's running his offense again. And you're going to tell me that this applies to Rodgers, but it doesn't apply to Mac Jones? Mac Jones won a national championship. Aaron Rodgers hasn't won shit. Hadn't won shit, okay? Now, here's where he's going to hopefully not fall off this chair.
All right, I'm waiting.
He said 7 wins without D-Hop. I'd say 12 wins without D-Hop.
Woo!
12.
Woo!
12. Let me tell you why. Last time this dude was here, he ran a 2 tight end set. Their names were Hernandez and Gronkowski. They're pretty good.
They're not walking through that door, folks.
Then I have to. They got Hunter Henry, and they brought in this kid from Miami, Gesicki, who's nasty. They didn't even have a Tyquan Thornton on that roster. They do on this one. And the last time he had a burner, his name was Smith. He won a Heisman Trophy winner. He's now the number 1 at Philly. That was Mac's last number 1 receiver. This kid is everything that kid is, and he's taller. And that's if they don't get DeAndre. Now, here's the thing. If they get DeAndre Hopkins, 14 wins.
Okay, so
14 wins.
Can I ask you, though, in your scenario, does this mean that Mac is the superstar?
No, he's one of many.
Is he the leader?
Yes, he is.
Okay, I think that's where the problem is. And from my point of view, because I do not see Mac Jones as the guy. Down in Alabama, he didn't have to be the guy because he was at Alabama.
But he was the guy.
But he was surrounded with people that were all going to be pros. And now he goes to a team that he was not surrounded with. He couldn't do what Brady does. Meaning Brady could take people that didn't have talent.
He doesn't have to be Tom Brady.
But Tom could make people that weren't good great. Mac hasn't been able to take people that are good, even mediocre, and make them good. He needs great people to stay great. He can't do it by himself. When he hurt himself and he hopped off the field and then he got a picture of himself crying, going down the stairs.
You're still holding on to that.
Oh, I jumped off of Mac Island right there.
Okay.
When my quarterback cries on the field, I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done. Just like...
I would argue that if Matt Patricia was your coordinator, you'd have been crying without that injury. I'm just going to throw it out there. If that dickhead was your coach, you'd have been crying from the moment preseason started. Never mind down the tunnel with your leg up on a sling. Okay? And look, I get why you say that, but here's the problem. Okay? He doesn't have to be Tom Brady. He just has to be good. And here's the thing. Every great quarterback in this league right now, every one has a number one. You name me one that doesn't. They all got a number one. Whether it's a tight end or a receiver, they've all got a true number one. Mac Jones hasn't had number one in 3 years. He doesn't have to have everybody, but he has to have a number one. Danny Dimes still doesn't have a number one.
No,
and that's why they couldn't go very far.
He definitely needs a number one.
He needs a number one. You can't judge a quarterback in this league without a number one.
I'd like to say that Tyquan Thornton can be that guy.
He can be if the guy, and here's the thing, O'Brien knows how to use the talent around him. And he will do that. He knows what this kid is. He knows what he's capable of. He has 2 tight ends. They just signed. They've got 2. Juju Smith-Schuster was a good signing. He was an upgrade from him. Juju Smith-Schuster is a definite number 2. He had a 1,400-yard season in Pittsburgh. He was the Chiefs' number 2 receiver last year. He was 900 yards with Travis Kelce as the 1. He was the 2. He's a legit number
like
2.
That signing a lot.
That's a good signing. But they don't have a true one.
They don't have a true one.
Not right now.
And I know this is still right down my Christmas list, and I hope it's under the tree. We get D-Hop.
Oh,
D-Hop's our number 1.
Changes everything.
Then you can
he's
have
an established one.
You can have 2 legitimate 2s. But what D-Hop does is he takes so much pressure off the field. You put him on there with Thornton at the same time.
Yep.
Guess what happens? Thornton then becomes your number 1 because he gets the experience, and now everything is off balance. And now Thornton's going to get the experience. He's going to get the success, and that's going to get him to that plateau.
I'm not disagreeing with anything you just said. What I'm saying is that without him, they're 11-12 wins. With him, they're the favorite to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, and here's the other reason why. The Pats' defense is going to be top 5 this year. That kid they drafted, that cornerback, he was number 1 on everyone's board. He was number 1. He is 6'1". He runs a 4.3. Think Ty Law, but 2 inches taller.
And I didn't say it before. I am really happy about Billy O coming.
Yes.
That's
this is this is night
upgrade.
And day. And listen, last year, look, I get you're upset about Mac crying. I was crying. I was watching this crying. Okay, watching that guy destroy this kid because you know how much I can't stand McDaniels. Okay, this guy made McDaniels look like freaking Bill Walsh. Okay, that's how bad this guy was. And O'Brien is a better coordinator than Mac Jones, than McDaniels. He's won a championship without Tom Brady under his belt. McDaniels has done nothing without Tom Brady.
Is Patricia, I believe he's still on the Patriots payroll.
No, he's in Philly.
Oh, he is? Okay, he got demoted from the assistant to the traveling secretary?
Why on earth did the Philadelphia Eagles sign this man? I'll never know. I will never know. If he is not running the hot dog stand, I don't know what he's doing there. And we've already joked with our buddy Joel. Hey, Joel, miss you, buddy. Who's the diehard Philly fan going, if that dude gets out of the trunk, you're in trouble.
Oh, no. I know what it is.
What?
They're bringing the Philly Fanatic to the Eagles, and Patricia's going to be the new Philly Fanatic. He looks like him.
Well, he looks like him.
Yeah,
Look, if that's the role,
I think he would excel in that.
I think he would.
Yeah, I think he would do a good job.
Yes, that circus monkey, any one of those, sign him up.
There you go.
But as a football coordinator, he should not be near a chalkboard. He should not be near a blackboard. He should not be in the film room. He should not be in a huddle. He should not have a headset. No. And what Joel said was, this guy can't possibly fuck us up. I'm like, he fucked up Tom Brady and Bill Belichick in their prime many times.
Hey,
many times.
Watch this, guys.
Yeah.
Did you know he was a rocket scientist?
Yes. I knew that. I'm trying to figure out what rocket science that was.
Makes you want to go join NASA right away.
It makes you think there's hope for you and I. I mean, if this idiot, if that clown can do this. So, and look, I understand the D-Hop thing. I've been on the D-Hop thing because I said they're either going to draft this number 1 or they better go get D-Hop. Now, they've been in on D-Hop. Now, here's the other encouraging thing, to your point about D-Hop. The Patriots made 2 moves this week. They extended out Devontae Adams' contract, gave him a 3-year deal, and they took a defensive player, same thing. And what they were doing was they were lowering their cap hit for this year and extending it out over the years. So they got their guaranteed money, and they're staying put, which is they were both good. They're both good players. They're good signings. But they opened up more cap space. Now, why do you think they did this?
To get some money.
If they have to counter offer this is a good sign.
Yeah.
This tells me that they're not going to let this guy sign somewhere else unless it's Kansas City and he just wants to go try it. Like, well, I have Patrick Mahomes going there. That's the only way this is going to happen.
I think what the issue is going to end up being, which hasn't happened in the past, is I think you're right. I think the Patriots are going to do everything they can. I think they're going to match every offer that's out there. I think the one thing, and I know that D-Hop and Billy O have bad chemistry from when they were together before. And there is an issue there, and hopefully as each player has moved away from each other. They can understand they work better together than apart, and hopefully they get over that. And then I'm hoping and wondering if that might be the one thing in D-Hop's mind that's keeping him from signing that.
Well, then this is going to be music to your ears. You know who Diana Rossini is?
Yeah.
She works for ESPN.
Yes.
Last week, she reported that both, first of all, this move was dictated by O'Brien and Kraft. That was the first thing to get him in the building. It was O'Brien and Kraft that said, get him in here. That's the first thing. The second thing was both D-Hop and O'Brien were asked about this. And they both said there is no problem whatsoever. Okay? D-Hop saying they had no relationship, meaning outside of business, they didn't have a personal relationship. That doesn't mean they hate each other. When he was there, he had his most productive seasons for this guy.
Yeah.
He was a 3-time first-team All-Pro playing for O'Brien. So you could sit there and talk about the Look, not every coach and player is going to sing Kumbaya and break bread on Sunday, and they don't have to. The working relationship, though, when those two together, worked. His numbers, his production with O'Brien were better than they were anywhere else at any time. And you can't argue with numbers. So the Patriots have two things going for them. One, those two don't seem to think this is a rift at all, according to Diana Rossini, who interviewed both of them. Okay? And two, the Patriots have the most money. There is no offer to match. No one can match what the Patriots can do. What the Patriots did was, if someone gets close, they'll go further. By making these two moves, that's telling me Bill Belichick knows, to your point, that if we get this guy, it tips the scales in a very loaded AFC. Because this conference, there's 3 bad teams in this conference right now. There are 3. Indianapolis, Tennessee, Houston. That's it. You look at the other 11 teams in this conference.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Look at them, okay?
Yeah, AFC
it's loaded. But here's the thing. Here's a shocker. I have Patriots 1, Jets 2, Miami 3, Buffalo 4. And I'll tell you why. Because what's happening in Buffalo is very real. That receiver Diggs cannot stand the offensive coordinator. He bolted out of that damn training camp or OTAs, and they covered it up 24 hours later after the head coach on camera said, and I quote, I don't know where he is, I'm very concerned. 24 hours later, oh yeah, he came in, passed the physical, got his playbook, and I excused him. And every reporter in the place is going, whoa. 24 hours ago, you know where the hell he was. He didn't know he was in the building. Now suddenly, he was here, passed the physical, gave him his playbook, he had an excused absence, and I let him go. 24 hours later? Come on, America. Nobody's that stupid.
I mean, you think about it. I mean, Buffalo was supposed to be the team last year.
They were.
And they were going to go to the Super Bowl. They were going to right all the wrongs that happened. And then it didn't happen. And now these guys are coming back saying, this is what we have, this is where we are, and I'm still just in Buffalo.
And by the way,
I could be doing this in any other part of the country.
Yeah.
But I'm doing this in Buffalo now.
And by the way, Von Miller is not Von Miller anymore. He's hurt. They were not the same defense when he went down. They went from an elite defense. When he got hurt, it was San Fran and them 1-2. When he got hurt, they fell to 15.
Yeah.
They are a mediocre defense, and the Pats and the Jets are top 10. Miami was rated 11th. Okay, they got the cornerback, Jalen Ramsey now, Miami. So the other teams in the division have all caught up. And I got news for you. Trust me when I tell you, this O'Brien addition to the coaching staff, you cannot understate what this is going to do for Mac Jones. Mac Jones is running an offense he ran all through college. He knows it like the back of his hand.
I'm going to keep an open mind on that.
He knows it like the back of his hand.
But this is it. If no matter what the record is, if Mac is doing the same stuff that Mac's done, his spoiled tennis brat routine, I'm all done.
Mac went outside the organization because he wasn't getting help from within it.
Yeah, you still.
If Bill Belichick, let me ask you this:
Godfather rules. You never go against the family.
Here's the problem: the Godfather wouldn't do what Bill Belichick did. The Godfather wouldn't have brought in these two boobs. You think Corleone would have brought in Matt Patricia and Joe Judge? No fucking way. He wouldn't have got past the door. He had a bullet in his head, the two of them. No way would a Corleone let those two bumbling boobs into their organization, and he knows it. Okay. Okay, he knows it. Okay, the bottom line is this. If Bill Belichick's this guru that everybody claims he is, why didn't he just take over the offense? He knows everything. He's the best coach that ever lived. Apparently he made Tom Brady. Apparently he made Lawrence. He made everybody. Why did he hire these two clowns who no one wanted? No one. Not a high school team was going after these two after they got fired. But Bill's going to bring them in, and they're going to give me a fucking break. That offense went from 10 to 27.
I'm almost wondering.
Why did he do it?
And I'm wondering, that's what I'm wondering about. And I'm wondering, as much as respect as I do have for Bill Belichick, I think
I'm just asking the question.
I think
I'm just asking the question.
Thought a little bit too much of himself, saying, I can do this with anybody. And guess what? I'm going to show the rest of the league. I'm going to hire a couple of boobs, and we're still going to win. And guess what? He kind of got slapped in the face.
Did he ever get slapped in the face?
And maybe now he realized, guess what? I got to catch up to this game because it just took a lap around me. So I got to take a step back. I need to bring in some help. I need to figure out somebody that can relate to the younger generation of players, because I just can't come in here and bark orders. And this isn't back the football of the 80s and the 90s where we can just tell people.
And his golden boy is gone.
And we got to now, we got to. Sometimes you got to coddle these players. They can't practice hard. They can't hit hard.
The league have pulled these rules back because they added the other game.
Yeah. So they have to do all the stuff. Yeah. And now, like I said, I think the game almost took a lap around Bill, and Bill got to take a step back and said, I got to get some more people in here that know how to talk to this generation of players a lot better, and I can manage it from the top, but I maybe have to take one step back and not be so inside. And guess what? I can't hire a couple of boobs to do the job that professionals should be doing.
No. And to your point, the Patriots defense, since Tom Brady left, has finished 8th, 9th, and 10th. How many playoff wins is that?
None.
How many division titles?
None.
Yeah, none.
Yeah.
What Bill is learning painfully is that it's a passing league. And if you don't have a number one, I don't care who your quarterback is, if you don't got a number one, he's not going to be effective. You have to his point about Hopkins. That two guys have to account for him.
Yeah.
Two. And the Patriots have a bunch of 2s and 3s right now, and Thornton has the potential to be a 1 on his own if O'Brien uses it in the right way, and I think he will because O'Brien knows that. That's what O'Brien does. He's not a head coach, he's not a GM, but as an offensive coordinator, Bill O'Brien is the best coordinator the Pats have had since Charlie Weiss. And when he was here, their offense was 1, 2, 2, and 1 when he was here. Okay? So the track record is there. Okay? They brought him back. It's his quarterback. These guys won a national championship together. They were undefeated. And Mac Jones looked like the next Tom Brady in college. The way 72%. Who the fuck complete? Joe Burrow didn't do that. Joe Burrow did not complete 72% of his passes in the SEC. But Mac Jones did. And he had a number one. He had a true number one. Okay?
It makes a lot of difference.
It makes a lot of difference. I don't care who you are. You take Travis Kelce away from the Chiefs. You tell me what Patrick Mahomes does without him. You take Diggs off of Buffalo. You watch Josh Allen. Okay, you take freaking Jamar Chase off Cincinnati. You talk to me about Joe Burrow. I'll go all around the fucking room. Any one of these quarterbacks you want to talk about, you take the number one away, they're not the same quarterback. It is that simple. Mac Jones has never had one. He's made a Pro Bowl.
So
with that dickhead McDaniels coaching him. Okay, so I'm saying without D-Hop, 12 wins. But listen, Minnesota won 13 games last year. No one picked Minnesota to go to the Super Bowl, and they were bounced. The Pats can win 12 games without that guy getting the playoffs, but they're not going anywhere without him. To his point, if they want to be a contender, they need him. Yeah. I agree with.
I'm still going to go 7 wins without D-Hop. If we get D-Hop, I'm going to say we get 12 wins with D-Hop. Okay. But if we get 12 wins in the regular season, but I think we at least win 2 playoff games with D-Hop. We obviously don't even get in the playoffs without him. That's what I think. Okay. Now, I got to ask you about your shirt, though, for a second.
Sure.
This is wishful thinking on my part, but the Thank You Tom game was going to be the season opener.
Against Philly.
The Patriots are going to honor Tom Brady.
Yes, they are.
I'm hoping and praying, but do you think, and I know it's all ceremonial, but you know what? It means something to me. It means something to New England. Do you think that's the day Tom signs the one-day quarterback and then retires as a Patriot?
I think he does it the day before.
That's what I mean, like that whole weekend.
Yeah.
That's I'm really hoping that'll and
20 years is 20 years. The greatest 20-year run in NFL history.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope
by far.
I hope he comes back to us because I was happy for him when he went down to Tampa Bay.
I don't think he wanted to leave. I think he left before what you said. He asked Bill Belichick for help, not money help, and Bill thought, I can win this. You want out? Walk. And then after Brady won the Super Bowl and Bill had a dozen eggs, is that number again, a dozen on his face, then he said Tom Brady got a better offer. That's why he left. Oh, really, Bill? What offer did you present to him? Because I never heard of an offer before. Did you? It's funny. No one did. Not one person reported. It wasn't on EI. No one said it. There was never the Pats made an offer to keep him. No, he went to Kraft's house, didn't tell Bill he was going there, and said he was done. Couldn't work with this guy anymore. There was no offer. There was no counter. There was no nothing. And Robert Kraft let him walk out the door because he trusted Bill. He trusted him. Well, right now, without him, he's 25-25. His one playoff appearance is a 47-17 bum blasting to Buffalo. Okay, they're 1-5 against Buffalo since Brady walked out the door.
If he wasn't so close to being the all-time winningest coach, I think he probably would be fired. But
he'd have been fired.
Kraft under his stable is hopefully going to have.
Kraft stepped in this year.
Yeah, he's going to have all the Super Bowl
with a lot
victories.
of things.
Going to have the greatest quarterback that's ever played the game, and
he wants the coach.
And now he wants the coach.
He's got the tight end. Got the quarterback. He wants the coach.
Yeah, he's going to get. Yeah, you're right. With Gronk, he'll have, the tight end, the coach, the quarterback, and all the titles.
Yep.
And I think that's the reason that saved Bill's job. Right.
That resume is what saved him. Because honestly, since Tom Brady, look at the moves this guy's made in the last 3 years. No one would have survived this if his name wasn't Bill Belichick.
Hey,
no one.
Quick little sports switch here.
Oh, we're going to switch right now. We're going to switch to the Boston Celtics.
Can I do one thing real quick?
Of course.
Just a real quick. Don't have to get into a deep dive on it. I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference, but I am very happy to report that Milan Lucic is a Boston Bruin again. I'm happy about that. One of our guys is coming home.
I never wanted him to leave.
He needed to leave because he was doing dumb stuff.
He did.
And
I get why he left.
But
I didn't want to see him go, but I get what happened.
I'm happy
I was sad, not mad.
Exactly.
I didn't want him to go, but I understood why it happened.
So what did I say today?
Yeah.
I said, this makes me happy.
Yes.
That's all. He's going to be a fourth liner. Yeah. So what is he going to do? But he's going to bring some toughness and some locker room experience. And you know what? He's one of our guys. He's coming home, and I hope he ends up staying to the point where he retires as a Bruin.
Yeah.
He was on the Stanley Cup championship team. He
always
holds a special spot.
And he was a key factor in that.
He was a very key factor.
He was. Yes,
and I just think his presence back in the building is good.
I mean, my take with the Bruins, I'm still so mad at them because of what they did. They did. They had a 3-1 lead. They had 2 of those games on home ice and blew them. And Patrice Bergeron, who is, to me, I rave about him. He deserved a better fate than that. Yeah. And look, I hope he comes back. I don't think he is coming back. He won his 6th Selke Award, so he hasn't dipped. Could he technically come back? Yeah. He's played well enough where he can come back. But he's going to be 37, 38 years old. I mean, how much can you take?
I think,
really, how much can you take?
Yeah, I don't. Think, I think he could take whatever he wants, and I kind of, I felt like this with Gronk when he was. They're both they're great players, and sure they can play, but do they have a chance? What's the cost of them coming back? What damage are they going to do to themselves? And what have they not? In Gronk's case, there was nothing he hadn't done. He didn't need to come back, and what he did.
Gronk had 29 surgeries.
And then he came back, and guess what? He got rewarded. He got another Super Bowl. Yeah. Is Patrice going to come back? I don't think they're going to be able to come to. I don't think they're going to.
I don't think it would be about.
Team
I don't think
next
they are.
year. So, and if he's not,
they caught lightning in a bottle.
If he's not coming back to go to a almost guaranteed Stanley Cup team.
Contender.
There's no reason.
I mean, look, Pasta's a top 5 player in this league. That's fair to say.
He needs players around him.
I don't know where you put the Rat, Marshmont.
He's a top 10.
He's top 10,
he's
probably
top 10-ish,
maybe top 15, somewhere in there.
Yeah, somewhere there.
The Bruins failed for a decade because they had a top-notch front line and they lacked depth. Last year, it appeared they had 4 lines, what makes us even more frustrating. And they brought in veterans that they were deep. They were deep. And they had 2 goalies, not 1, 2. When this goalie, who by the way won the Vezina, lets up 6 goals in 2 different playoff games.
Well,
I mean, what the hell is that?
He holds the key to our future.
He does.
In a weird way, though. I believe he holds the key to our future is he's never going to be more valuable than he is right now. The Vezina Trophy winning goalie.
So what do you trade him for?
Trade him for whoever we need. I don't.
You think the other goalie's good enough?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I do not know. I don't have enough vast knowledge of the entire NHL system.
Have you ever asked Jim Billy this question? What did Jim say?
Not yet.
Jim!
But I think right now it's time to trade Linus. He's never going to be more valuable.
First of all, it's Linus. I don't care what he says.
And we have a really good Swayman is good in goal. Yeah. But what I'm saying is the people that we could get in that trade.
We'd probably get 2 players for him.
At least.
Yeah.
We could really
2 legit
build this team.
I'm not opposed to this because he's showing me his color. To me, it's what you do in the playoffs. He crapped himself. He crapped all over himself. And by the way, in those games, the Bruins scored like 5 goals in each of those games. They should have won those games. Yeah. If that kid, if he would just showed up, not even just been average, they would have won those games. So he to me was the biggest reason they lost.
They pushed too far at the end of the regular season. They should have just rested people.
They went for those records.
They were chasing
history.
It's hard to not chase history, but
no, the Patriots tried to do it.
Yeah, they got caught up in it. Yeah. But you said you want to say something about the Celtics.
Well, you said something you want to say about the Celtics.
I did.
Okay. Well, first of all, let me first say this. The draft happened recently. The Celtics moved heaven and earth to get a 6'7" defensive player from Arkansas, who the tapes I've seen, he looks like, from a defensive standpoint, he's that dude. Plus, it also tells me they're not going to re-sign Grant Williams. Because Grant Williams is asking for money that the Celtics just don't have, quite frankly, right now. And he wasn't worth what he was asking for. So this looks like if he goes, they've got a guy ready to replace him. That's what that move looks like. Having said that, I'll finish that. You had a thought on them. What was your thought about the Celtics right now?
Okay, so something you kept telling me all last playoff season. The Celtics are the dumbest team in the NBA.
Ever. I've seen.
And
dumbest Celtics team I've ever seen.
And one of the, there was a lot of dumb stuff that went on.
A lot.
One of the persons that was responsible for the dumbest thing, we just did a smart thing and we traded away Marcus Smart. Heart and soul. The man, you can't touch his integrity and his grit and his willingness. But he might be the least self-aware NBA player in the history of the NBA. He thinks he is Michael Jordan, and he is barely Joe Barry Carroll. I mean, come on. You can't just stop shooting threes. Stop doing dumb stuff. You want to be the guy. Guess what? You're the third guy. You're not even the Scottie Pippen in this situation. You're like the Gerald Ford. You're down. You know what he could have been if he knew who he was, and we love him. He could have been two plays. He could have been first. He could have been an ML Carr. He could have been a Cedric Maxwell. He was those guys. We love him.
They played significant roles.
They know what their roles were. Yeah. They were very important people to very important teams in Boston, and they knew what their role were. They didn't try and step out. They didn't try and take the three-pointer when Larry Bird was trying to shoot it. No, guess what? Larry Bird got to shoot the three-pointer. Guess what? Pass that ball out to Tatum. Stop taking the ball away from Jaylen Brown. Stop doing this. Yeah. Just stop taking the play the playboard away from the coach and drawing up a play. So that being said, getting Marcus Smart out of here and bringing in this
7'3",
beautiful
24 points per game.
Porzingis.
Yeah.
He not only is this man
he's 27
years old. Do we even have to say what a 7'3" man can do in the paint? But he dominates the paint.
He plays defense too.
Plays defense. But he has an outside game. He can shoot.
Yeah.
He can shoot.
Yeah.
Now, could you imagine us going double bigs and putting him and Robert Williams?
But third, yeah, or even Horford off the bench, the two of them together.
Or who knows? Yeah, Horford. I mean, we could go double
bigs. You
could
do a lot of things with him.
But I think now this is going to just completely change the dynamics. And the things that we were getting frustrated about, it's not going to be there. And I really think Marcus Smart, as much heart as he had, I think he made he was such a strong presence in a negative way in that locker room that I think it made people uncomfortable, and they were walking on eggshells because he would throw fits and he would just make the whole situation uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And I think he wanted to be the leader. He was never going to be the leader. The leader has to be Jason Tatum. Has to be. There's no question about it. Mm-hmm. Jaylen Brown is a great player, but it has to be Tatum. Tatum is going to. He needs to be the superstar.
It's Tatum's team.
And Brown needs to be that support.
Yeah.
I know people don't like to be labeled this, but my God, call me Scottie Pippen all day, and I'd be a happy man, because Scottie Pippen was one of the greatest players that ever played in the NBA.
Pippen was on the dream team.
And he's one of the greatest players ever played in the NBA. Yeah. And somehow people use that at a negative connotation, but that's what Jaylen Brown needs to be. He needs to be Tatum's Scottie Pippen. And if those two can get that thing straightened out, now they don't have to worry about this huge ego of Marcus Smart trying to butt in and take over that situation. Yeah. And I think that is going to then free up the Celtics to be the team that they should be, that they are, that we haven't been able to see. And that's my take. I think we might have gotten smarter by losing Smart.
Let me tell you how right he is, because he doesn't even, I don't think even he knows how right he is. I'm a stat guy. I usually base my opinions off facts. He's come to know this, and it probably drives him crazy, like most of my friends. But here's a stat that I think he's going to enjoy. There's two things that people who, and I get, look, one of my strengths as a player when I played was defense. I my thing was to score, but then I take your best player and lock him down. So I have a personal thing for Marcus Smart because when he played defense, when he was locked in, he was as good a perimeter defender as I've seen in a long time. That was what I loved about him. Here's where he's right. Your point guard. There's two things that are undeniable, inclusive facts here. One, he averaged almost 2 turnovers a game. Your point guard
no bueno.
Cannot average 2 turnovers a game. Okay? Here's the other problem, and this is even worse, and no one has talked about this. His career assist average is 4.6. Okay?
No bueno.
That average is in lieu of the fact that he's got a 27-point score on his right and a 30-point score on his left. He averages 4.6 assists per game. Let that sink in, Celtic Nation. If you gave me, at 50 years old, on a bum leg, those two, I'd average 8. Right now, at 50, and I can't run from here to there without popping my Achilles.
I'd be doing anything I could to get rid of the ball.
I would average 8 assists minimum. And if Marcus Smart was averaging 8 assists minimum, then the 2 turnovers aren't so bad. That's 4-1. That's great. But when you average 4 turnovers and 2 assists, that's not even 2-1. That's awful. That's awful. And that's before you get into the fact Marcus Brick, his other alias, decides to show up and jack 8 or 9 3-pointers a game. He's not a good 3-point shooter. He's only good, or even has because he's a volume shooter, because he keeps taking them. And then once a week, he goes 5 for 11, and the crowd goes crazy. The rest of the week, he's 2 for 9, he's 3 for 10, he's 4 for 15, whatever the fuck it is. He's 1 for 12, whatever it is. The bottom line is, the Celtics lost more games last year living by the 3 when they should have just given it to the 2 slashers and gone to the hoop. That's all they had to do.
I'm huge on that. I know this is a new push in today's NBA, but I would love to see people drive the paint and play more inside. Get the 2 instead of hope for the 3.
How many layups did the Celtics pass up last year for a 3?
Oh, you're right underneath the basket. Oh, let me throw this out.
Let me throw it out 23. When you're right there isn't a shot blocker anywhere to be found.
Take the
and
2.
You're kicking out for a 3, which is still the lowest percentage shot in the game, and you're passing up and this is what the Celtics have done for 2 years now.
Yep.
And here's what Brad Stevens deduced. Marcus Smart was a starting point guard for 2 years. For the last 2 years, the Celtics have had the deepest, most talented roster in the NBA. They don't have one title to show for it. They pissed it away last year with 40 turnovers in 2 games at home. 40 turnovers in 2. Think about that.
Ugly.
Ugly. This year, they should have swept Atlanta. That went 6. Philly should have beaten 5. It went 7. They lost game 1 without Embiid. Embiid wasn't on the floor. The Celtics lost game 1 at home. That told you all you needed to know about where this team was going. It was only a matter of time before somebody caught them. Okay? Denver did to Miami what the Celtics, talent-wise, should have done to Miami, but the Celtics don't know how to play basketball. So Brad Stevens figured out, we can't win a title with this guy running the ship.
Nope.
And what he did was he used that and turned it into a 7'3", 24-point per game all-star who's 27 years old, who's going to be music to Tatum and Brown's ears. You know what they can do with him now? They can play the 2-man game. You know who plays the 2-man game in America? Their names are Murray and Jokic. You should have heard of them. They just won a fucking ring. Playing a 2-man game that now Boston can play with 2 guys. Not 1, 2. Okay? And this guy plays defense, to your point. He can guard Jokic. Brad Stevens did what every GM is supposed to do. Who's in our way? Who is going to be standing to us in the title? He went and addressed that. He got bigger. He got better on offense, another scorer, and he's added depth. He's going to build around these 3. They have a big 3.
They do. They
have a big 3.
Legitimate big 3 now.
Yep. And Porzingis will pass the ball, too. He's not a pig. He's not a pig. Okay.
Something I heard the other day that gives me hope, because Miami is still a legitimate.
They are a threat.
They're a threat. Yep. I heard they're number 1 in the running now for James Harden. And if a team is going to take James Harden, that makes me happy as a Celtics fan. That's wonderful.
I hope
that is just wonderful because James Harden doesn't win.
No.
His teams flash.
No. I was scared when I heard Damian Lillard. That's the one that scares me.
Yeah.
If they get him from Portland, that dude's a winner. Okay. But he's also 33.
Yeah.
So he's old. So.
Where I was upset, I'm holding out hope for the Celtics.
It was a good move.
Yeah,
it was the right move, and it was a tough decision because, to your point, Marcus Smart is beloved in this town. And he did. Look, he played hard. I'll never question the man's effort. He didn't always play smart. And he played dumb at the worst times.
Yep.
At the worst times. When we needed someone out there making the right decisions, he was jacking 3s. Your point guard can't shoot more threes per game in any game than a 27-point guy and a 30-point guy. That can't happen. Ever. There is no scenario where you're going to tell me that can happen. And it happened all too often.
No. So, should we say anything about the Red Sox? No.
The Red Sox are up 6-3.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
No.
If they win tonight, they're 42-42. They're in the best division in baseball. I will say this. Alex Cora is manager of the year. Because that team has no business. I didn't think they win 40 games all year. I will say that. Okay? The GM needs to go. They're asleep at the wheel. They've lost.
And Heim is going to get fired.
He needs to get fired. He needs to go.
That would be awesome.
Oh,
Heim gets fired.
He needs to go.
And Alex Cora is manager of the year.
He needs to go. No, because listen.
They finish at a 500 record.
Did you see what happened last night on the West Coast? Mookie Betts. Remember him?
I wish we could get a player like that.
The best leadoff hitter in baseball?
Imagine if we had a player like that.
If we had spent $10 million more, would have still been a Red Sox. Those are his words, by the way. Last night, had his 12th multi-home run game of his career. He is now the all-time leader for leadoff hitters since 1900 to 2020. That's a 123-year window. He is now the all-time leader for leadoff hitters multi-home run games with 12. He broke the record.
He was a homegrown talent of ours, I believe.
Yeah, he was. He came through the system. Him, Xander Bogaerts, who left last year, Bennington. They gutted a team that won the World Series. They let the Dan Kimball, the closer, go. Didn't replace him. The kid they got now, Jansen's pretty good. They got a closer. They still don't have. Sale started to pitch well. Sale got hurt. What a fucking surprise. Sale gets hurt taking a shower. At the trade deadline, they've got to be buyers, not sellers, and go get another frontline starter. Their lineup appears to be pretty good. And this kid Bello, by the way, it wasn't one start. He's had 5 good starts in a row. His ERA for June was 2.1. So that's 5 starts. He's not Pedro. Let's not go there. But it's promising. But he's not Pedro. Don't go there, America. I can't stand that. That drives me nuts.
They're just so inconsistent. Like we
they're in the best division of baseball.
Sweep the Yankees, win 6 straight, and then they turn around and they lose. They get swept by the White Sox. We lose 5 straight. I mean, as soon as you think you want to jump on their bandwagon,
they crush you.
Oh, it's just terrible.
And they'll probably sweep these fuckers in Toronto. Because you know why? Because they got swept at home by the fucking Marlins. But don't be surprised if they sweep these assholes.
But I mean, talk about
up and down.
One of the worst signings ever is Chris Sale. I mean, that man has just stolen millions and millions of dollars from the Red Sox. He really should be.
He should be in jail.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the thing was, before he got hurt, he had 6 good starts in a row. He did, but he can't stay healthy. The guy, he cannot. I don't get it. He cannot stay healthy.
I mean, he fell off his bike last year.
Why? He was injured already. Why are you biking? Like, I don't understand how he wasn't put on the plane by the fan base and sent away after that. If you're already injured, why are you biking? In the first place, I don't get that one.
I didn't know about this, but I watched that show about the Lakers dynasty last year, and I didn't realize when their first year with Magic Johnson and they won the championship, their coach
Whitehead.
Yeah, he was it the first coach they had? He fell off a bike. That's how he lost his job.
That's how he lost his job.
And then you would think that any other person would ever learn from that mistake. Don't ride a bike. If you're a professional athlete, don't ride a bike.
And during the season? No. And you're already hurt. You're not getting on a bike and going out in the wilderness. Oh, we should go trail biking today. I'm on injured reserve. I need to get back out there. I haven't earned my paycheck. You know what? We should go trail biking.
How about you go for a long ball?
Yeah, it's just the dumbest. Play pickleball. No, wait, don't do that. Don't do that.
No, we don't talk about pickleball.
No, it's taboo. Don't do it. Anyway, that's going to do it for our segment this afternoon. It's great to have him back. 7 wins, though. All right. I remember that, America.
Okay.
We flipped. We've literally flipped. I don't get why. We flipped. But we both agree on one thing. Belichick knew he needed help, and he went out and actually got it. We agree on that. We agree on DeAndre Hopkins. However,
and knowing is half the battle.
Knowing is half the battle. But however, if they don't get him, I don't think they're toast. I don't, because the offensive coordinator is far better. He's the best coordinator they had other than Charlie Weiss, and he will know how to use the weapons they have, and they will be 4 games better than they were last year. They will, because I'll tell you right now, Buffalo's going to sink. Tua's going to get hurt. Tua's going to get hurt, by the way. I don't want to see it happen. He's going to get hurt.
If Tua stubs his toe, he's going to get a concussion.
He's going to get hurt. And I'll tell you right now, anyone who has been following Aaron Rodgers the last 18 years, do you know how many times that he had everything he wanted and he couldn't get it done? How many times he couldn't get it done? But now he's going to come into the best division in football, and now he's going to get it done?
Aaron Rodgers.
At 38?
He is a joke. I can't stand the guy. What is he? Is he a guru now? Now he's like
Did you see that?
He's a psychedelic guru. Now he wants to do like these micro shrooming stuff. I mean, come on, give it a break.
Can you imagine the
just
first?
Go out in the desert, smoke your peyote, and just go
the
away.
first bad game he gets. Can you imagine the New York media with this guy?
He's gonna have to go back into his darkness retreat.
This ain't Green Bay, Aaron. You ain't gonna be able to hide in New York.
Yeah.
These guys are gonna be. They're gonna be under your bed if you try to. No way. You don't understand how the joy this is going to bring me.
Oh, it's going to be
when
wonderful.
This man implodes and that fan base implodes. Mike Greenberg, I can't stand that little weasel. He's singing "Kumbaya." They're going. I can't wait to see his.
You're
face.
not in Wisconsin anymore.
No, you're not. You could hide out there. Yeah. You can't hide on the East Coast, baby. You can't do it.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks. A pleasure. Yes, we will revisit this again. And maybe even at Christmas time. I get to see him at Christmas. And we will also talk about the Celtics then. But later on this week, we're going to have John in here. Mark, Steelers preview. Pete, Cowboys preview coming up this week, America. And yes, we will check in on the Redoubtable One, who apparently has one of these gurus as a cousin. And they're going to be doing a segment in New York. I almost want to see this. My recommendation, Betty. Lots of it. Okay. Until then, America, you enjoy your 4th of July. If I don't see you before then.
Happy birthday, America.
The Breeze in the hizzy. Good to have him back. I missed him. See you soon. And again, boys and girls, don't be like Aaron. Stay loose. Stay loose, America.